Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's TUG Connect. TUG Presents webinar, Campus Plus. We are going to be enjoying a presentation this afternoon that will last approximately 20 minutes and then offering question and answer. And John Brown is going to be handling the presentation. John is the Education Product Cloud Suite Distribution Manager. And if you're not in the Cloud Suite, he also is the manager of the distribution SX.e platform. And Jackie, who will be joining us for Q&A, is the senior learning consultant for SX.e. So John, go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So I am not the product manager. Just to clarify, I'm the education product manager, which means my job is to make sure that I go out into the community, including with customers and partners and those that are doing implementations, and identify the training that they need to be successful with the product, and then make sure that we have training available for that. And we have a certain footprint, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. Jackie has been, I just wanted to highlight something about Jackie. She has been a consultant and she's been a user. She's been with us for a long time. We're very happy to have her here. She's the one that manages and develops all of the SX.e training that we have out on campus. So today what we wanted to do is talk to you about how you can use campus to get your people trained. You might be going through an implementation or an upgrade, or you need to implement the application at a new site. You might have some folks that need to be cross-trained. You might have turnover and you get somebody new in a position and you need to get them trained. And so the question at that point in time is, okay, what do we do? What resources are out there for us? And at campus, what we want to do is make it really simple. And so the approach is this simple. It's 3 steps. The first thing that you're going to do is match yourself or match this new person on your team with a learning path. And once you've done that, identified the learning path that's applicable to you, you just start learning using one of the many resources that we provide to learn the topics that are on that path. And then once you're done with your path, there are additional opportunities for learning. We're constantly updating the software. We have monthly releases of the software. And so on occasion, those things will actually affect one of our courses. And so we'll update for that. There's also an event. We have one coming up in August called the Tech Ed, where you go to get advanced technical training. These are all things that you can do after you've done your path. We also have webinars that we teach, free webinars about various topics. But the center part of all of this is the learning path. And so what learning paths do we have out there? Right now we support 10 of them. And you can see here are the first 5 areas of the business that somebody might be responsible for, and we'll train you how to do what you need to do in the application to manage those responsibilities. And then here you can see the second 5. So we've got 10 of these, and they're all out on Campus Plus, and we have a number of resources that you can utilize to learn what you need to do in the application for those topics. And so let's just talk about those, and then we're going to get over to campus and see exactly what these resources are. The very first thing that you get out on campus, and if you have a Campus Plus membership, this comes along with it. These are the official Infor training guides. The next thing is our self-directed courses. Now these are video courses that walk you through the training guide, and these training guides are the same training guides that consultants would use on site if they were going to teach these things to you. And so you have these videos where the instructors give the same demonstrations, the same explanations that you would have in a live class. You'd have the exact same hands-on exercises that you'd have. You also have a discussion thread. So if you have a question, well, you just post it on the discussion thread. Our instructors monitor those threads every day, and they go out there and answer your questions. The next thing that's provided to you are live office hours. So let's say you've gone through the course, right? You've read the training guide, you've gone out to the application and tried to do a few things in Company 1000, which is our training database for distribution SX.e, and you still don't get it. It just isn't making sense. Well, you can schedule one-on-one time with the instructor, and that would be Jackie, and you can ask her your questions and she can help you through them. And then of course we have that ongoing training that we talked about. There are training videos and training materials for the new features that we release on an ongoing basis, and then we also hold special training webinars. And then if you're a member, a Campus Plus member, you get 25% discount on other courses out on Infor Campus as well as the Tech Ed. So those are the resources. And let me take you out there now and show you Campus and show you how to access these things. So if I was going to come out here to Campus, I would sign in with my login credentials. And I would navigate to the page for distribution SX.e. And you can see there, hey, there are these different categories of course materials and courses that we have. For me, however, I think the easiest way to find things and to make sure that I'm organized is to use the Learning Paths document. We update this whenever we release new courses, we get this updated. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to open that up. Okay, you should see an Excel spreadsheet. And down here, you can see all of those learning paths that I referenced before. We have a foundation. Everybody needs to take that to get an understanding of how to navigate the system. And for people that need to be super users or champions or whatever it is that you want to call them, or they just need a broader understanding of the application, they'll take the one-on-one course, which takes them through a number of the business processes, order to cash, purchase to pay, etc. They'll go through that foundation, and then their next step is to say, well, okay, I'm going to be responsible for accounts payable. So here's the topic that's in my path. It's just a path that's one topic long. If you're a controller, well, you're going to have a couple of steps in your path. You can see here how many hours we estimate it will take you to complete your path. We've had hundreds of people take these courses, and this is just about how long it takes. And that's not just watching the videos, that's also doing the exercises. We're a very strong believer in hands-on exercises, and all of these courses are designed for that. So once you've done that, well, here is a column that shows you the workbooks, and you just simply click this and it takes you right out to Campus, right to the workbook where you can download that and start to read it. If you want to get into the video course, well, you select the link here and click, and it takes you right out there. And if you need to schedule office hours, you can schedule office hours here. So I'm going to go out and let's just look at this controller self-directed learning class. I'm going to go out here to Campus, and I'll show you what these look like. So it's taking me to the page, and let me take you to another one that maybe I haven't been into yet. I'll show you the enrollment process. Okay, so we see here's the class, and it says enroll, and so I say, yeah, I want to enroll in this course. And then it takes me into the course itself. And I can see down here, this is the base course right here, my self-directed learning. And then I can see here that after I've taken that, or after that was created, that base course was created, as I said before, we have ongoing releases in the product. And when we have new enhancements that would affect or enhance something that was in that base course, well, we'll create additional supplemental videos to take care of those. But I want to go into the base course here, so I'm going to launch it. And this is going to bring up a little shell for me. And there are some little security things that I need to click through. It's going to ask me now if I want to run JavaScript. I'll say yes. And now it renders this course for me. And you can see now here are all of the different elements within the course. If it's my first time in, I can go to this Getting Started page, and it gives me an orientation to how to use the course. When it's time for me to take it, I can go over here to my workbook, and these are the same training guides that you can download separately. The neat thing about these is that if you open them up here, let's give it a second just to bring up, and I start to page through them. I'm gonna move my GoToMeeting controls here. I can start paging through them, and I'm going to get to a point here where I see a link like this. So we've embedded links to the videos when you're supposed to watch them right within that document, so I can read, and then when it's time to watch the instructor video, either demonstrate the exercise or explain some things to me, well, I can click it there. So that's the first thing that's available to you. And of course, as I said, these are all built with the intent to have you get into the application and do hands-on exercises. And so they have hands-on exercises there. Okay, so let's go back to my shell here. So that's the workbook. What if I wanted to access the videos just by themselves? Do I always have to go to the workbook? Well, no. I can go out here and I can access the videos individually right here. Some of our classes have just one page of videos, others have 2, 3, 4. It just depends on how big the class is. If I wanted to download the training guide, I could do that here. We have some frequently asked questions. In some of our courses, you'll see an additional document here. At the end of every one of our lessons, we have a Check Your Understanding quiz. And in some of the training guides, we used to separate the answers out into a separate document. We changed that a little while ago, and we just added as an appendix to the training guide. So in this one, those answers are in the appendix, but there might sometimes be another document here with answers to those quiz questions. The next thing is that if you have a question for the instructor, you've gone through the videos, you've read the training guide, it still doesn't make sense, you want to post a question, well, you just come down to the social collaboration area, and it takes you out to the discussion board, and then you can post your question there, and the instructor will answer it for you. The final thing is this lab on demand. And as I've been saying, we want you to do hands-on exercises. All of the exercises in these courses are designed to be completed in Company 1000. The nice thing for you is that Company 1000 ships with the product. And so if you're an on-premise customer, all you have to do is install that database or install that company, set that up, and off you go. And if you're on version, and Jackie can correct me, but version 1019 of the application, we've adjusted Company 1000 so that it can accommodate up to 25 students taking the same course. So,
John,
yeah?
That's 11.19.
Oh, 11.19.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I get my products mixed up. So 11.19, it'll accommodate up to 25 students taking the exact same course. And so in that case, you don't need to have a separate environment here. I mean, if you wanted to have somebody have a separate environment, you could do it. There's a minimal fee for it, and we provide you an environment. But with your product, you have that wonderful benefit of Company 1000. If you're in the cloud, well, that's already set up for you. And so you can get into that database and do the hands-on exercises there. So that's how you use this self-directed learning course. Now let me go back to my PowerPoint. With all of those resources, you can access a number of them if you're not a Campus Plus member, or you get them all included in your Campus Plus membership if you have that. You want to think about Campus as a big box store. It's like Walmart. Anybody can go in and look around and browse and look at all of the things on the shelves, all the courses and training that's available. And then when you want to access it, some of it's complimentary, but some of it has a charge. And non-members, you can see what's available here. With Campus Plus members, you can see what's available here. And it's just a subscription. And when you have the subscription, it's unlimited access. It's kind of like Amazon Prime. You just get unlimited access to the things that you can see that are included. So that's what Campus Plus is. It's really that simple, and it allows you to prepare for your consultant visits. And this helps you maximize their time. Instead of having them spend their time on teaching you how to find this form, how to enter this type of record, how to navigate around, do all this core fundamental stuff, you can save their time for making sure that the application is working perfectly for your situation, for doing your conference room pilots, etc. Those advanced things. After they leave, you're probably going to forget some of the things that you've learned. That's just how things work. And so you can go back to campus, you can re-access those videos and recall what it was that you learned, and then also expand on it. You can use this not only for the project team, but the end users. With other companies that have Campus Plus, we've had them use it to train 200 end users on multiple sites. And then, of course, as I said before, when you need to do cross-training, when there's turnover, when you need to do upgrades, well, you can utilize Campus to help you with that as well. I know that in a lot of our companies, a lot of the folks that use this application, their IT department, if they have one, is often the first line of support. And so a lot of these IT departments use Campus to offload those basic training questions. And then if those don't answer the question, well, then they can help their users out. So it really is a great tool to maximize the value of consultants that come out, save yourself from having to recreate all of that training yourself, and then just to get your people trained. Now, the second thing that I wanted to do today is not only explain to you what Campus Plus was, I wanted to share with you some self-study practices that will enable you to be successful. And this is whether you're using our materials or materials that you've created yourself. We've had hundreds and hundreds of companies use a self-study training approach. And we've learned over the years that there are some things that they'll submarine your efforts. And there are other things that will make it a rousing success. So there are three main things that I want to share with you. The first thing is that you have to manage it. And by that, I mean, it's got to be in the project plan. Sometimes we fail to do that. We've seen companies that fail to do that. And if it's not in the project plan, well, it's not visible. Management hasn't signed off on it, and it doesn't get done. The other thing that management has to sign off on is the total hours that is required for the people to do the learning that they need to complete. If you think about sending people to live instructor-led training, either off-site or somewhere at a training center at your site, what you're doing is you're blocking out time for them to go away from their computer, go to a different location, sit down, and actually focus on the work. Sometimes, for whatever reason, when we start doing self-directed video learning, we forget that we need that same space to block out our other job and focus. And so you saw with each one of those learning paths, some of them take 8 hours to finish, 16, 32 hours. And if we just think, oh, they'll fit it in, it's videos, they can do it on their own time, they'll fit it in during their breaks, I can just guarantee you it won't happen. What has to happen is you need to go to management and you have to say, look, this is how long it's going to take to get the training done. When are we going to give these folks time to get it done? Okay. When are we going to give them time to get it done? And then management has to sign off on that. The next thing that you want to do is give the student some additional support. When you take an instructor-led class, the only motivation you really need is to get up out of your chair, walk over to the training room, and sit down. That's it. But with self-study, there's a little bit higher of an obstacle. You don't have an instructor there to hold your hand and teach you and take you through exactly what you need to do. You don't have necessarily a time blocked out. And so we need to support the student in getting over that initial hump of learning. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we give them an environment so that they can do their hands-on exercises. For you guys, that's Company 1000. We want to make sure that they have a log into that and they know how to get in there. The next thing that we want to do is orient them to the training path and the site, kind of like what I'm doing with you here today, so that they don't feel lost when they go to campus, or they don't feel lost when they open up that Excel spreadsheet to see what their learning path is. The other thing that we found that is incredibly helpful is to have a time when we work together. Usually that's the first course, it's the navigation course, or also the Foundation 101 course. If there are other courses that multiple people need to take, sometimes it's very helpful for them to get together and take it together. We had one customer with hundreds of end users, and the way that they got them trained was to have a lunch and learn, where they would get together for 2 hours a couple of times a week, and as a department they would walk through the self-study courses together. All of those approaches work. The thing is that we need to make sure that we ensure we do that. The last thing is, if you think about making dinner, sometimes the hardest thing about making dinner is figuring out what you're going to eat. And it's the same thing with getting this work done. Or if you do any type of manufacturing or kitting or anything like that, if you have a dispatch list and you're able to tell the people, hey, here's what you need to do today, it's so much easier. And so if you can create a weekly schedule for your people, or have them sit down and do that in the beginning so that they know exactly what they're going to learn and when, or at least even the time that they blocked out for it, it goes a long way into supporting them and making this successful. There's one last thing, and then we're going to open it up to questions. And that is, we found that if we just sit people down in front of a training course, a self-study training course, and say, okay, here you go, work through it, well, that can be successful. But we'll have dramatically more successful results. The people will learn dramatically more if we require some deliverable, something more than just sitting down and watching the course or working through the course. So that might be, if you're in an implementation team, we need to have you do some business process sketches of the business process that's contained in this course. We might want you to create a job aid. So these courses are general, and you have probably very specific business processes and policies that would tweak the general process that we teach. Well, let's start developing those job aids. And they don't have to be super developed, they don't have to be super detailed, but they certainly can be a page or two to help all of the other users understand what we need to do and how we're going to use this at our site. We might go through and say, you know what, at our site, we need to be able to do X, Y, Z. I've taken the course and I still have questions about whether or not we can complete these types of tasks, or how we handle these types of situations. Just having somebody create an issue and question list makes them more engaged with the class and helps them learn dramatically more. The last thing that you can do is require an assessment, or let them know that they'll be assessed on the key processes or tasks that are in that class. And the way that we recommend that you do this, and this doesn't require hardly any preparation at all on your part, and that is just conduct these like we do driver's license tests. So I'm not talking about the multiple choice driver's license test. I'm talking about going out and sitting with an officer and driving around, right? And demonstrating that I know how to drive a vehicle. Well, it's the same thing with the application. If I've taken accounts payable, for example, then at the very end, I'll want to demonstrate to somebody that I know how to voucher an invoice and I know how to apply payments. And there will probably be a couple of other things in that class that I want to demonstrate that I know how to do. And you can conduct those demonstrations very quickly. So those are our recommendations for self-study success. If you implement these, I will guarantee you will have a successful training program. If you ignore these things, well, it's not going to be as successful. We've just learned that through experience. Okay, at this point in time, I would like to open up the session to questions.
And we do have a couple of questions in the question bank. The first one is Infor no longer providing updates to EPAC, and does this training replace EPAC?
Yeah, that's a great question. So EPAC has been replaced by a different tool. We call it the our UAP tool, or our user
Adoption.
Thank you, Jackie. Just my mind went blank. Our user adoption platform. It works almost exactly like EPAC. The EPAC simulations, or these UAP simulations, are included in the Campus Plus membership. So folks can get access to those. If you don't have a Campus Plus membership, then you have to, just like you did with EPAC, you have to license the tool, and then you can license those simulations as well. That's a great question. Is there another question?
Yes, the next question is, are we able to purchase the course files to load in our own LMS?
You are not able to do that. They're just accessible here on campus. You could, if you wanted to, provide a link from your LMS out to campus, and that way you could keep it kind of all within the same dashboard. But right now we don't sell them separately to put into other applications.
And the next question is, do you have a course for purchasing?
Jackie, you want to talk about that?
Sure, and we do. It's under the using purchase planning. Now, with purchasing, are you asking about the ROAR or just acquisitioning materials? Because we cover creating manual purchase orders, and we also go through using the recommended replenishment action process.
Yes, it's for the RAR.
Yep. So we go through, I think there is a 4-step process where you run the report, you go in and review the dashboard, and then go in and make selections and discuss what the recommended products are and the quantities. And then you go through merging and creating the purchase orders or warehouse transfers. So we do have that using purchase planning.
Wonderful. And also the next poster says, how do we get UAP in order to be able to test drive it?
What we'd have you do is talk to your Infor account manager, or you can shoot me an email and I can get you in touch with them if you don't know who that is. My email is john.brown@infor.com. I'm happy to answer any questions anytime, and we just need to get you hooked up with somebody who could take you through that process and let you see what the product is like.
And the next question posted says, will it ever include SX.e carrier training, in parentheses CUG?
Carrier, the distributor in particular? Is that where you're at? What they're asking?
Hold on a second. There's a
Uh-huh.
rephrase. There's rephrasing. Carrier SX.e module training available.
With Campus, we only have the core applications, the core modules. So you'll see the finance, purchase planning, pricing, and branch operations. So we have not, but we are looking at developing, and I know John can talk about the future footprint of CSD and SX.e, but currently it's just the core modules.
Okay. And the next question is, what is the subscription cost for Campus Plus?
Yeah, so this is basically a site-wide license. And so what we do, so what that means is that gives everybody at your site who's a user, it gives them this unlimited access. It's just a subscription. So it depends on how many users you have. And then what we do is it's an annual fee, and the list price is $132 per user. So they get all of that training, right? Unlimited access to that for that amount. And then you determine whether or not you want to renew that. Now, if you have some type of elite customer status or other things like that, you'll work out your own discounts if you have those types of things with the people that, with your sales manager. But that's the list price.
And the next question is, Infor Campus the same as Infor Campus Plus?
Well, that's a great question. So Infor Campus is the big box store. That's the Walmart or Target or whatever you want to call it. Infor Campus Plus is a way to pay for the training that's there. So you could go in and you could say, oh, I want to purchase these distribution SX.e courses a la carte. And you could certainly do that. Or you could say, no. And that's a good option. If you just want one, hey, that'll probably be a better value for you. But if you've got to take more than one course or you have any number of people that need to take it, the membership starts to become the biggest value, the biggest savings to you. And then what the membership does is says, okay, instead of purchasing these things a la carte, all of the self-directed training, well, that's just included in the membership price. All of those training guides, that's just included in the membership price. And then you get savings on other things. So think of it as Amazon versus Amazon Prime. Is how you can look at it.
Excellent. And the next question that dovetails into that, is it $132 per user per month or per year?
Per year. That's 132 per year. So you can see, I mean, normally when you go to courses, a live instructor-led course, just out in the industry, it's somewhere between $600 and $800 per day is what those cost. So this gives people and gives the people that subscribe to the membership a great value. It's 132 per person per year is the list price.
Thank you, John. Well, at this time, that concludes the questions that have been posted. We thank you so much for the great content today that's been shared. And again, if anyone would like to share the contents of this website, this webinar, it will be available on the TUG website tomorrow. Wait, one more question here. It says, is there a way to demo this site?
Yeah, you can get in right now, even if you don't have a Campus Plus membership. Any one of our Infor customers can go in and kick the tires and look at stuff. So you can just go out to Campus at campus.infor.com, and when you go to the login screen there, it'll tell you how to get your login. And then if your company if you decide, oh, we really want to look at this and see what it's like, then there's a on the first page when you come in down at the bottom, there's an email there of Infor Campus at infor.com, and you just shoot them an email, or you can shoot me an email and say, hey, we're interested. How can we get in and get a little bit better tour of what's going on here? So that's always available to you.
Wonderful. And I'd just like to remind everyone that if you do have any questions about wanting to kick the tires, as John says, and you're having any challenges on the website, please feel free to email him at john.brown@infor.com. And that concludes the questions that we have posted thus far. Again, the webinar will be available to review starting tomorrow at the TUG website under the webinar tab. And we'd like to thank John and Jackie for their presentation today. And as they say, that's a wrap.